Welcome students to Lesson 1 video. Now, if you haven't read all the introductory material, try to fit it in the next couple days. Right now, we're going to focus in on Lesson 1. Everybody probably has a good idea of what's most effective for them in really learning material. And that's a good thing. What I'm going to do in this video is give you a suggested approach to completing a lesson. Now, during this presentation, I will be giving you a lot of very good advice that has been provided by students, instructors, and my experience and so forth. So I know that you'll get something out of this short video. All right, let's get started. You're going to go to your content button, and remember I taught you about this before in the first video. So we're in Unit 1, and then we're just going to start Lesson 1. Okay, before I click that, it's a good idea for you to go to Course Resources and Lesson Notes. And if I click on Lesson 1, I have, in essence, in this file, I have, from the textbook, I have a overview of the lesson. So these are the objectives, and here's a slide with definitions. Now I want to strongly urge you as a minimum to take a sheet of paper and write maybe the title. Okay, so this would be good right here, population and sample. And then I would as a minimum write the definitions. That's going to be very important because it will help you distinguish the differences between the vocabulary, and that's important in statistics. So anyway, you could go through, there's examples here. I would just look through this, maybe remember, write the definitions. I would read this before I do anything else and go through this. If you don't get everything, that's okay. You're going to see that during the time that you work in the lesson. But notice there's examples and so forth, and then we're finishing up by reminding you about the objectives. So I'm going to skip through to the end here. Okay, there's, like I said, there's a lot of notes, but if you take a little bit at a time, you're going to be just fine. And so when I finish, I ask you the question, do you know? And then, do you know these objectives? This is the point of the lesson. So lesson notes, I suggest you go to it. You don't have to download it. You don't have to print it out, but I would look it over before you start. Back to our table of contents, we're going to click on Lesson 1. So I've clicked on Lesson 1, and notice what I have. I have an introduction. This is what I call the task list. The task list, okay? By the way, up here there's an advanced organizer for Unit 1. You may find that helpful. Okay. So these items in the task list, that's your mission for Lesson 1. Lesson 1 means get these done. All right, so hopefully that helps you out. So do them all. Please don't skip. Let's look at this introduction. So on the introduction, we're talking about, hey, why am I studying sampling and types of data? Okay, because we don't always have the population of a data set, and plus we need to understand and distinguish the different types of data. And this is really a great foundational lesson. So over here, notice we have the objectives. You could read through them. They also line up with the lesson note slide presentation. And then this is a reminder of what you need to do to complete Lesson 1. Okay, so that's really a very good thing for you. Now I want to point out, if you want to get back to the lesson, you could click the content, but what I do is Lesson 1, sampling and types of data. You could just click on that link and get back to the lesson. All right, let's look through a couple things here. We talked about the introduction. Now the next thing is what I call the lecture video. There's a lecture video here, and here you have one of your authors. In essence, what they're doing is they're going through that slide presentation and taking it one step at a time.
Section 1.1 Objectives. Construct a simple random sample. Stratum tend to be alike. The following variables are qualitative.
Now, you notice that here the author is going through the slides and they're basically reading them. But you may hesitate that and say, oh, I don't want to listen to someone, read to me. I want to urge you to take the time to go through these videos. It may take you, I don't know, a day or so to adjust to, having someone talk you through it. But there's very valuable help in this, in that it disciplines your mind, it forces you to concentrate on the material, plus you'll know what you know and you know what you don't know, and that is actually a pretty good learning tool. Back to our task list, you have lecture videos and then you have example videos. So let me look at an example video, types of samples, okay? And again, you want to go through this one step at a time. But here the author is going to go through a explanation of a couple examples.
A poster obtains a list of all the residential.
Okay, so I played a little bit of that for you, and here the author's going through an example. Many students learn by examples, and these videos would help that type of student to make sure that they know how to apply the information that they learned. And applying it right away is very helpful. Okay, so you're working through here, and then you work through all of the videos here until you come to the exercises. So we're going to click on exercises, and we'll click on download here. Now, this is the actual set of exercises. What I would do is I would export them. I would put a copy in a file folder, and then we'll talk in a moment here about doing the exercises. So here's a binder. This is a suggested way of doing the course here. So here's the syllabus, and then for lesson 1, I printed out the document right here. Okay, printed it out, and I worked the lesson. So that would be something that you may want to suggest that you do. Okay. Now on these lessons and the assignment, try not to get overly complicated in how you do things. So basically I printed it out and worked it out on my paper. Simple enough. Now you're going to make some careless mistakes. Don't beat yourself up over that. Okay. Just take your time as you go through the lesson. That'll help you out. Okay, the next step here, so I've got my lesson, I've got my answers worked out here, a little bit hard for you to see, but it's okay. And then I'm going to click on exercise solutions. So here you go, I go over here, and then here I have the solutions, and what I need to do is I need to go through this very, very carefully and check my answers. Now when I check my answers, it's going to be very important for me to review the ones that I missed. Whatever I didn't get right, I need to go back and make sure I understand the material and understand why the correct answer is correct. So please keep that in mind. Okay, if you notice on my task list, the last thing here is taking the quiz. My advice to you is work the problems carefully, know the material before you take the quiz. And so do a good job with the quiz. The problems are a lot like the assignment, so just take your time and go through it. If you get it done in 15 minutes, fine. 10 minutes, fine. 30 minutes, fine. Whatever it takes for you to go through the quiz. Now here's my advice. If you get an 80 or more on the quiz, then move on. Okay? Move on. if you get less than an 80 on the quiz, what I would do is I would go back and see where you missed, what you didn't get, what you didn't understand. And then I would relearn that material. Okay, that's going to be very, very helpful. I will do my very best to help indicate the problems that you missed, but not giving you the answer. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So then what I would do is, after you went back over the material, rewatched a video, rewatched an example, redid a problem, you need to go and re-quiz. And obviously, if you did that properly, you should do better on the quiz. And then you could move on. So please keep that in mind. All right, so we worked through lesson 1. We're talking about sampling and population and so forth. This material in that lesson is the bare minimum content. You have a textbook that you could read. You have the author has a textbook that you could obtain and look through. But you could do some more work. I may give you some other resources later. You have outside videos that I mentioned before. Now, because math is a building situation and this course is developed this way, it's very important for you to do good enough to be able to move on to the next lesson. So this course has been designed where you need to get a minimum of 70% on a quiz, lesson 1 quiz, before lesson 2 opens up for you. And that's really to help you, okay? So 70 is not the highest number, but it's going to be what I call the bare minimum. The next lesson will open up for you. Now, my advice is someone says, well, I'd like to do better on a quiz. If I did, maybe 75 and the lesson opened up, or I got an 80, I want to get 100. You could do that. And what I'm going to do with the quiz is I'm going to give you 4 attempts for the quizzes, and that'll be really great for you. So please don't abuse it, but use it in an effective way, and that will be very, very helpful. And the grade that's going to be assigned or applied to the grade book will be the highest grade. Students, if I was taking the class, I would love that. That would be wonderful, and hopefully that you'll get something from that. So please keep these things in mind. Okay, now you may ask, where can I get a copy of the textbook? Remember, I said the textbook is free. I'm going to place this under the syllabus and start items. Hold on here. Okay, what I decided to do was to put the textbook right under this about the course. Okay, I'll put this under here and have that ready for you today. Okay, let me talk a little bit about the textbook. Here's the textbook here. You could go through here and I'll just show you the table of contents. The table of contents may not match up exactly, but close enough. And here is a lot of good lesson material. You have more problems that you could do. It's a great resource. And listen, we want to thank the eCore folks and those that have worked on this to provide this free textbook. Because let's face it, the cost of education is tough. And the good folks here with eCore have done an outstanding job, and they're to be highly commended for the efforts that were made. So hopefully you enjoyed this textbook. You could download it, put it on your computer, and just read it for your entertainment, pleasure, and get a lot out of it. So I hope that helps you out. Okay, folks, lesson 1. And of course, I'm going to click on Course Home, and we're back to our home page. I want to thank you for taking a moment listening to this video. I want you to know that I'm working ahead on doing the lessons, and by the way, for that first quiz, I take the quizzes too, okay? And I suggest that you do that, and it'll help you out, be a good review for you. But each of these lessons has a cycle like this. Keep working the lessons, and then you're ready for a unit test. And of course, we could talk about that a little bit later. So I've already been through the first unit, and I will try to move ahead and try to anticipate some of your questions. Put your question in the Unit 1 question discussion, and also don't forget when you're done with these 6 lessons, I like